Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're looking at something that's really changing the game for developers. We're talking AI-powered IDEs. It's like having this super smart coding buddy right there in your development environment.
Mm.
And to really get into this, we're not just looking at articles. We've got market trends, YouTube reviews where they're actually comparing different tools,
Yeah.
and even some of those what if AI concepts that really make you think like, wow, is that even possible? So if you are curious at all about how AI is shaking things up for developers, or you're a developer and you want to stay ahead of the curve, well, you come to the right place.
You know what's really caught my eyes is this new wave of startups like Cursor, Windsurf, Tray AI. They're not just, adding AI features to existing tools. They're building entirely new IDEs with AI, like right at the center of it.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, okay, forget making small changes. Let's rethink the entire coding experience. So let's unpack this. What makes these startups so different? What are they doing that's got everyone so excited?
Well, just look at Cursor, for example. They hit $100 million in annual recurring revenue in just 12 months. And get this, with zero marketing spend. That's unheard of, especially in the software world. It just shows there's a huge demand for what they're building. An AI-first coding experience that's so intuitive, so powerful, developers are just flocking to it.
$100 million with no marketing. They must be doing something right. So what's so different about them?
Well, their whole approach is built around AI assistance throughout the entire development process. Forget about basic autocomplete. This is generating entire functions just from a comment you write. Imagine writing like 10 lines of code instead of 50. Plus, they have this YOLO mode that automatically runs tests, refines your code, it even squashes bugs, and you don't have to do a thing. It's like having a coding ninja working behind the scenes for you.
Okay, YOLO mode. Now that sounds kind of wild, even for the AI world. So tell me more about that. Like, what does it actually do?
Well, you can think of it like this. YOLO mode lets the AI kind of take the wheel on certain tasks, but within boundaries that you set. It's not about, replacing the developer. It's about freeing you up so you can focus on the big picture, creative problem solving, the stuff that really needs your human brain power. And the YouTuber who reviewed it was just blown away by how well it handled these complex real-world coding scenarios.
So it's more like you're delegating the grunt work to a really smart assistant, not giving up control completely. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about the other players like Windsurf and Tray AI? Where do they fit into all of this?
Well, Windsurf from Codeium is taking a different approach. They're all about accessibility, making AI-powered coding available to everybody. Their editor is free and designed to be super user-friendly. So even if you're new to coding or AI, you can jump right in and start experimenting.
That's great. I mean, making these tools accessible to everyone is so important. It really levels the playing field. And it opens up opportunities for people who might not have had access to, traditional coding education.
Yeah.
So what about Tray AI? What's their angle?
Tray AI is really interesting. They're backed by ByteDance, the company behind TikTok, and they're pushing the boundaries of collaboration between humans and AI. So think AI Q&A, where you can ask the AI questions about your code or get explanations on complex concepts. They're also exploring this thing called agent-based programming, where you basically delegate tasks to AI agents that work alongside you.
So it's like having a whole team of AI specialists on call, ready to help you tackle any coding challenge. That's pretty cool. But with all these different approaches, it feels like we're at a crossroads. Is this the dawn of a completely new way of coding? Or are we just, adding some fancy AI features to the tools that we already use?
That's the big question, isn't it? Will these AI-first IDEs completely revolutionize the way that we develop software? Or will AI features just become like standard additions to existing tools? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the way we code is changing, and it's changing fast.
It's an exciting time to be a developer. So much innovation happening, so much potential, but we're just scratching the surface here, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is just the first layer of the onion. We haven't even touched on the global implications of this AI race or the potential challenges and ethical considerations that come with such powerful technology.
Ooh, that sounds juicy. We'll definitely have to dive into all of that after a quick break, so stick around, listeners, because we're just getting started.
You know what we're seeing with these AI-powered IDEs? It's really just the tip of the iceberg. The real revolution, I think, is how these tools are fundamentally changing software development itself. It's not just about, writing code faster. It's about something much bigger.
Okay, you've got me hooked. Tell me more about this bigger picture.
Well, think about it. These AI tools can handle all those repetitive, tedious tasks that used to eat up so much of a developer's time. And that frees us up to focus on the higher level challenges, designing elegant systems, solving those really complex problems, and crafting truly intuitive user
So
experiences.
it's like developers are evolving into architects, right? Guiding the AI, shaping the overall vision, instead of getting bogged down in all the nitty-gritty details.
Exactly. And this shift demands a whole new skill set for developers. It's
Yeah.
not just about mastering syntax anymore. We need to be fluent in the language of AI, understand how to communicate effectively with these tools, and think critically about the output that they generate.
It's like learning to collaborate with a brilliant but slightly alien partner. You need to understand their strengths, their quirks,
Yeah.
and how to get the best out of them.
Precisely. And that brings us to the global stage, this AI revolution in coding. It's not just a technological shift, it's a geopolitical one. You have the US with its, Silicon Valley powerhouse, and China with its state-backed AI initiatives, both vying for dominance in this space.
Yeah, those articles about the global AI race were pretty intense. It feels like a 21st century space race,
Yeah.
with code as the new frontier.
Yeah.
So what are the key differences in how the U.S. and China are approaching AI development?
Well, the U.S. has traditionally relied on a market-driven approach, fostering innovation through private investment and entrepreneurial spirit. Silicon Valley thrives on this model, attracting top talent and venture capital to fuel that rapid growth. In contrast, China has adopted more centralized, state-driven strategy. The government's pouring massive resources into building AI infrastructure, funding research, and cultivating a national AI talent pool.
So it's almost like two different philosophies clashing. On one hand, you have the, freewheeling entrepreneurial energy of Silicon Valley, and on the other, the focused strategic power of the Chinese government. How do you think this will play out in the long run?
It's hard to say for sure. Both approaches have their strengths and weaknesses. The U.S. system is incredibly dynamic and innovative, but it can also be fragmented and short-sighted, chasing quick profits over long-term goals. China's centralized approach allows for rapid progress and massive investment, but it can stifle creativity and limit individual freedom.
It's a fascinating dynamic to watch unfold, and it's clearly having a huge impact on the development of these AI-powered coding tools. Speaking of specific tools, I'm curious to learn more about Bolt.new. It seems to be generating a lot of buzz, but it wasn't in our original batch of sources.
Yes. Bolt.new is a great example of how quickly this field is evolving. They're a relatively new player, but they're already making waves with their unique approach to AI-assisted development. Bolt.new is focused on building what they call a generative IDE, which essentially means it can generate entire code bases from natural language descriptions.
Hold on, generate entire code bases just from describing what you want. That sounds almost like magic.
It is pretty mind-blowing, right? They're leveraging the latest advancements in large language models. To create a system that can understand your intent and translate it into functional code, it's still early days, but the potential here is enormous. Imagine being able to build complex applications simply by describing your vision to the AI.
That would be incredible. It would completely democratize software development, making it accessible to anyone with an idea, regardless of their coding skills. But what about the role of the developer in this scenario? Are we all going to be out of a job?
I don't think so. I believe the role of the developer will evolve, not disappear. Instead of writing every line of code ourselves, we'll become more like architects and designers, guiding the AI, refining its output, and ensuring it aligns with our vision.
So it's about learning to work in tandem with these AI systems,
Hmm.
using them to amplify our creativity and productivity, not replace us entirely.
Exactly. It's a partnership, a collaboration between human and machine. And I think this collaboration has the potential to unlock incredible new possibilities in software development.
This all sounds very optimistic. But are there any potential downsides to all of this? What about the concerns around data privacy, bias in AI models,
Yeah.
or the risk of developers becoming too reliant on these tools?
Those are all valid concerns, and we'll definitely need to address them as this technology continues to evolve. Data privacy is paramount, especially when these tools are handling sensitive code and potentially proprietary company information. We need to ensure that robust security measures are in place to protect that data.
That makes sense. And what about the potential for bias? I mean, these AI models are trained on massive data sets of code. And if those data sets reflect existing biases in the tech industry, won't the AI simply perpetuate those biases?
That's a crucial point, and it's something we need to be very mindful of. If the training data is skewed towards a particular coding style, or if it reflects the biases of the developers who created it, those biases could be amplified by the AI. We need to ensure that these models are trained on diverse and representative data sets, and we need to be constantly evaluating their output for potential biases.
It sounds like a lot of responsibility rests on the shoulders of the developers who are building these tools. But what about the developers who are using these tools? Isn't there a risk of becoming too reliant on AI, potentially losing our core coding skills and critical thinking abilities?
That's another valid concern. It's essential that we maintain our fundamental coding skills and don't become overly dependent on AI to do all the heavy lifting. These tools should be seen as augmenting our abilities, not replacing them.
So it's all about finding that balance right,
Mhm.
embracing the power of AI, while also ensuring that we don't lose sight of the human element in software development.
Exactly. And I think that's a perfect segue into the next part of our conversation, where we'll explore how these AI-powered tools are not just changing the way we code, but also who can code. We'll delve into the world of no-code platforms and the potential for AI to empower a whole new generation of creators and innovators.
Ooh, that sounds fascinating. I can't wait to explore that further. But for now, let's take a quick pause and come back to delve deeper into the democratization of coding. Stay tuned, listeners, because this is where things get really interesting. Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle this whole idea of AI making coding more accessible. We've talked about these amazing new AI-powered IDEs, but it seems like things are going even further. No-code platforms, AI building apps from scratch. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is mind-bending, isn't it? We've gone from AI assisting with code to AI potentially becoming the coder. Take platforms like Lovable AI, for example. They let you create apps just by describing what you want in plain English. It's like having a conversation with a super smart computer that can turn your ideas into working software.
So instead of needing to learn complex syntax and programming languages, you can just say, I want an app that does this and that, and the AI figures it out. That's incredible. But it also raises a lot of questions. What does this mean for the future of traditional coding skills? Will anyone be able to build software even if they've never written a line of code?
Those are the big questions, and honestly, no one has all the answers yet. Some experts believe that coding, as we know it, might become less important, replaced by these AI-powered systems that can handle the technical heavy lifting. Others argue that human developers will always be essential, even if their role shifts more towards design, strategy, and guiding the AI.
It makes me think about how photography evolved. When digital cameras and smartphones became commonplace, some thought professional photographers would become obsolete. But instead, it opened up photography to a wider audience, while also pushing professionals to refine their skills and focus on the artistry of their craft.
That's a great analogy, and I think we're likely to see a similar evolution in software development. These no-code platforms and AI-powered tools will empower more people to create software, which is amazing. Imagine the wave of innovation that could unlock. At the same time, skilled developers will continue to push the boundaries of what's possible, working alongside AI to build increasingly complex and sophisticated systems.
So it's not about replacing human developers, but rather expanding the possibilities of what we can create together, right? It's like this fusion of human creativity and AI ingenuity. But what about those potential downsides we touched on earlier? Things like data privacy and bias in AI algorithms?
Those concerns are absolutely crucial to address, especially as AI plays a bigger role in software development. For data privacy, we need rock-solid security measures to protect the code and information being fed into these systems. And for bias, it's all about being aware of the potential pitfalls and actively working to mitigate them. We need diverse teams building these AI tools and diverse data sets used to train them.
It sounds like navigating this new world of AI-powered coding requires a lot of thoughtfulness and responsibility, both from the people building the tools and those using them.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to you, the listener. Whether you're a seasoned coder or just starting out, it's clear that AI is transforming the landscape of software development. This is an exciting time to be involved in this field, but it also requires staying informed, being adaptable, and embracing this wave of change.
So what's our takeaway for today's deep dive? What should our listeners be thinking about as they go out into the world, freshly equipped with all this AI knowledge?
I think the key message is this. Don't be afraid to explore. Try out these new AI-powered IDEs. Experiment with no-code platforms. See what you can create. We're on the cusp of something truly revolutionary, and it's up to all of us to shape how AI will impact the future of software development.
Beautifully put. It's a future full of possibilities. And I'm excited to see what incredible things we can build together with AI as our partner. And that wraps up another deep dive, folks. We hope you found this exploration of AI-powered IDEs enlightening, maybe even a little mind-blowing. Until next time, keep coding, keep exploring, and keep asking those big questions.